I'm Michael. I'm going to be your host for this morning's session. Quite a short one, this one, quite a simple topic as well. We're looking at the bank transfers option. So we'll be looking at not only how you go about posting them and obviously explaining the fields, etc., but also if you make a mistake, what options have you got? Just before we get started, as usual, we'll quickly cover a little bit of the housekeeping. So it's normal, if you've got a microphone and you've enabled it, that'll be muted automatically. So any questions you've got for us today, pop them in the questions panel. Just myself running the session with you all this morning. So keep me busy, keep the questions coming, do engage with me, pop your comments and your questions in as we go. If I don't know the answer, or maybe I think it's a bit off track, I'll maybe just leave it and pop you an email later today at some point, but keep them coming. I'll try my best. And if anyone wants a copy of today's handout, although it is a very simple topic that we've got today, you can download a copy of the slides via the little icon on your taskbar. As normal, the session has been recorded. A link to it will be included on your follow-up email. You get that follow-up email, it's automatically sent around about an hour after we finish. That will also include links so you can register for our upcoming webinars shortly. Hopefully within the next couple of days, we'll have the rest of our October sessions on there and possibly beyond as well. But also there is our recordings page link as well. So if you've missed any sessions, or maybe you attended a session at the time and you weren't ready to use that area of the software, or you just want to recap, then keep those links handy. The recordings are always there. Right, okay, let's have a look at what we're covering. Quite a short agenda with it being such a straightforward topic, this one. But going to start with an introduction to bank transfers. Obviously, we'll include a demonstration in that as well, just to cover the various options that you've got when you're in that screen. Also picking up on corrections. Easy for me to sit here and say, oh, this is how you do that, but not that many people contact our support team about, well, how do I enter a bank transfer? It's more, right, I think I've made a mistake. How do I go about correcting that? So I want to look at corrections as well, just so you've got that full picture. So hopefully you'll go away thinking, actually, yeah, it's a simple area. Now, I'm not covering the sort of foreign currencies today, but if you've got queries surrounding that, do pop them in there, and I'll maybe try and pick those up towards the end of the session. And then just right at the end, obviously when we're trying to pick up those questions, if there are any outstanding, we'll explain a little bit with the additional support you've got available as well. Right, so without further ado, we'll get stuck in. So bank transfers, nice simple option. Well, hopefully you'll think that when we're finished anyway. So the bank transfer option, basically, it enables you to move money from one bank account to another. It's a simplified form of a journal entry. So you'll probably remember back to, and you might be in this position now, when you first started doing accounting, when you did debits and credits. Very easy to get the debits and credits the wrong way around. And I think most people in their head, they start from a bank account when they're starting out with their double entry. But when you post the bank transfer option, it will post that journal for you. So it posts it as a journal credit to the bank that you're transferring the money out of, and a journal debit to the account that you're transferring the money into. So it just tries to keep it simple. So which account do you want to transfer it from? Where do you want to transfer it to? What date, reference, what are the details, etc. So we'll run through that in a moment. You can enter bank transfers as a single transfer, just doing the one. So it could be something like a cash withdrawal. It could be you're paying money into the bank account, so posting a deposit. It may be that you've gone on your online banking and you've transferred funds between your different bank accounts, so you just need to record that in your accounts. So you can enter it singly, or you can enter as a batch, so entering multiple transfers on the same screen. It's entirely up to you. Other ways of accessing that, obviously what we're going to look at today is just going into the bank accounts area and then using the bank transfer option. But there are other ways to get at that, essentially get at that option to post that transfer in your accounts. So obviously bank accounts, you'll have the bank transfer on the top. Within the bank reconciliation screen, you will have a transfer option at the top. So if you're working through your bank statement and you come across a transfer, you can click the transfer option. If it's not already recorded in your account, you can record it there and then. And basically accessing the same option. You can access it within bank feeds. So if you're processing a bank feed, you see a transfer where it is a deposit of cash or whatever, you can record that there and then. One thing with bank feeds is you can't set up a rule to record a bank transfer. Has been requested, but you can't currently set up a rule for that so it automatically posts. So you'll have a create option within bank feeds, so you'll just need to use that if you haven't already entered it in your accounts. You could potentially use recurring items. I doubt you'll ever do that. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use it. You would only ever use that if it's I suppose a set value that you're transferring where you're transferring funds between bank accounts. You know, let's say you're doing it on a monthly basis or a weekly basis, or where it's regular. So that's when you'd maybe use recurring items, but probably unlikely. And of course, you could import it as a journal. So if you've never imported transactions before, always worth understanding data import, because once you've understood it, you'll maybe then start spotting the opportunities to where you can save a little bit of time. So if you've got colleagues filling in things like expenses forms, or you get transactional information from other software that you manually then enter. So instead of manually entering it, can you be provided with that in the form of an Excel spreadsheet that you can then just simply import into your accounts? So bank transfers can be included in that. There is a recording on importing transactions if you are interested in finding out more about that. Right, okay, let's just get stuck into a quick demo then, show you how easy it is to post your bank transfers. So I'll share my screen. Today I'm using version 32.1, so we've got the latest update installed. It's nearly hot off the press, this one, still only been out a week or so. I'm not sure it's available to everyone just yet. Definitely being made available to accountants, so you might have heard about it, you might not. You'll see little changes in the software. Main changes in this particular update is to the Copilot area. So you'll start seeing things like this panel here with Copilot is active. If it's not active, you get more of a coloured panel at the top just to draw your attention to it. You see these little, I think what's termed the Copilot sparkle. I'm not sure that really hits that brief, but you get these little icons next to the areas where Copilot insights are available. Not in bank accounts though, not currently. So we're going to go into bank accounts to access the transfer option. Obviously it highlights my default bank account. Now, little tip on that one. If you find that you're always going in and think, well, it's this account that I use, I don't use that first one anymore, you can always go into tools, into settings, and then control accounts. And you have an option on here, third option, your default bank. You can switch that. So if I just set it to 1220 at this point, okay that. And then next time I go into bank accounts, it'll highlight that account. Just saves a click here and there. So as I say, if you've got an old sort of redundant account, that's how you can get rid of that. Well, it's also why it also highlights the first one, because by default in settings, control accounts, that's what it's set to. I'm just going to set mine back to avoid any confusion. Right, anyway, back to bank accounts. You've got the transfer option on the top. If you're like me and you think it's there, but I always come in, where's it gone again? I use it so infrequently on demos. I always think it's over here somewhere, but you've got that option there. If you don't have that option, it's going to be for one of two reasons. One is your username doesn't have access to that, and the other is that maybe you've hidden it at some point. So my next great tip, right click on your toolbar along the top, Some of you will know this already. When you right click on your toolbar at the top, it'll display the toolbar options that you have. Bank transfer is one of them. It could be that you've switched it off. So if you right click, if it's not ticked, just switch it back on and you'll have that then available to you. If there's any options that you don't use, so for instance, people don't massively use the cash flow option or the cash register, the deposit cash, you could almost like have a declutter, as it were. So right click, find those options. So cash register, I can just switch off. Deposit cash, I can right click, find it, switch it off. Maybe cash flow as well. So it sort of starts removing those options. Checks is a common one. Do you actually print checks, like a check remittance from your software? If you don't, again, right click, find it on the list, switch it off. You can always switch those options back on if you want. And if you need to, you can go right click and then use defaults, and it just resets the list for you. Now you've got that through the software as well. But let's get stuck into the bank transfer option. I'll maximize that as well, so we can. We've got lots of blank lines there, but at least it gets rid of the background distractions there. So various options along the top, your standard sort of clear form, your standard options, which used to be available via function keys only, but you've got icons for them at the top here. You might use them in the screen. Probably not, unless you enter a great big batch of transactions, but just for consistency, they're there. You've got memorize and recall. Some of you will have those options, some of you won't. Again, not that useful within the bank transfers because it's such a simple screen. And then you've got the option to print your list and also send to Excel. Again, I don't think many of these options are massively used in the bank transfer screen. So first of all, if we want to do a transfer, we choose the account that we want to transfer the money from. So in this case, it picks up my default bank that I had highlighted. Obviously, if you need to change it, you can do that. Let's leave it set to bank current account. Let's say we've done a cash withdrawal, and that money is going to be sat there in, petty cash account for now. So we'll choose the account that we want to show the money being transferred to. Pop in your date. Just accept today's date. Reference is trans, so just an abbreviation of transfer. Obviously, you can change that if you want to. If it was money that you were paying in, you might have a paying in slip reference, that type of thing. You might have done it online. Entirely up to you, but it will pick up trans as the default reference. So as normal, reference and extra reference, they're just sort of alphanumeric. So you should have up to 30 characters for those two fields. So pop in whatever you want. Details will default to bank transfer. Again, you can change that. For details, you should have up to, I think it's 60 characters. Excuse me. And then we've got the department. So just picking up department 0. Again, you can change it if required. Just choose from the drop down. Now, if anyone's got the charities option enabled, so the not-for-profit option, then you will have a fund column as well. So it'll just be a case of choosing the appropriate fund and then popping in the appropriate amount as well. So let's do £100. Now, if I just press the tab key on the keyboard, it takes me down to the next line. So I can continue entering additional ones if needed. Now, if you've ever been in this position where you start typing another line and you go beyond that first field, when you try and save, you might get this. Warning, could not find bank account. So it's because you've sort of activated that sort of second line. You might get it slightly different message if you're in other batch entry screens where it'll say no information entered, and it just be a case if you could click on that line in F8 to remove that entry. Right, anyway, mine's saved. So if I just close out of that screen, don't need to save any changes to that one, and pop into transactions, and we'll find at the bottom here we've got the transaction that has been posted. So post as two transactions, journal credit, journal debit. So JC against the bank account that you're transferring the money out of. So the one that you said from, and a JD against the one that you've transferred it to. So nice and straightforward. Any questions so far? Now we're going to come on to corrections in just a second, but again, that's the basics of posting a bank transfer. Obviously, when you go into the likes of your reconciliation screen, but I'll just quickly show you some of these as well. Let's see if I've got one set up. So it will go right down to the bottom of the transactions list. I can see the bank transfer. It's actually listed there. Similarly, if I was working through my bank statement and I see a bank transfer that isn't listed in my reconciliation screen, I've got the bank transfer option at the top there. So I click that and then I can start filling it in. It's exactly the same screen. And you would have a similar option when working in bank feeds. You would highlight the transaction that is downloaded from your bank, and then if it hasn't been entered, so you've got nothing to match it against, with that transaction highlighted, you can click create, and again you get a bank transfer option, which in turn brings up this screen that you're looking at. So it's all entered in the same way. Let's just close out of that. Right, okay, no questions have come through, so what I'll do is I'm just going to pop back to the slides for a moment. I'm just going to mute my line for a second there. Sorry about that. Suffering with a bit of cold today, so I've got a bit of a cough and sneezes. Right, okay. So we're going to move on to corrections at this stage. So common mistakes. Now, not as common if you use the bank transfer option is where you transfer the money in the wrong direction. That's most common when you've used a journal entry. Obviously, a bank transfer, you can go into nominal codes and journal entries and record the debit and credit. So as you're probably aware, and we've probably all been there, might all be there in the future as well. If you do a journal, you get the debits and credits the wrong way around. Very easily done. You've specified the wrong bank account. You just weren't paying attention. Good song comes on the radio in the background or something, you start singing along and you specify the wrong bank account. You forget to change the date. Maybe you've keyed in the wrong amount. Things like typos as well, or even just missing information. So typos, you put something in the details and actually it's really annoying you because you can see it, and once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. So easy enough to correct a typo. Similar for any missing information as well. Maybe there wasn't an extra reference at the time, but now you do have one and you want to pop that in. You've recorded like money being paid into, deposited into your account, but maybe you're waiting for some sort of deposit number. So you can always edit your transactions and add that information in. And of course, duplicates as well. So where you've keyed it in, you got interrupted, and either yourself or someone else picks up where you left off and just gets duplicated for whatever reason. So very easy to amend or remove bank transfers. You've got the edit and delete option. You can access that from a number of different areas. One is obviously the bank account screen within the activity. And the other is from within the transaction screen itself. So you'll be able to edit or delete them. Now, Laura, I'll come back to your question a little bit later on, Laura, when we're talking about, I'll see if I've got foreign currency out. I'm sure I've got it. If it's not, I'll enable it and try and show you that towards the end. So you can easily edit or delete bank transfers. I'll show you that in a second. Now, something you can't do, and this sort of links in with Laura's question about doing foreign currency transfers. If you make a mistake with a foreign currency transfer, you won't be able to edit those or delete them in Sage, you will actually need to correct that manually. Now, you do have a journal reversal option. Some of you may have been on my journal corrections webinar, which we do run from time to time. Again, it's similar, because when you edit or delete a bank transfer, it actually, because it's posted as a journal, it gives you then the same screen. But journal reversal is a quick way of essentially reversing whatever the transaction is, whether that's a journal or if it's being posted via bank transfer. But let's have a quick look at that, show you what options you've got. Back to my screen. And again, if I go into the bank account, click on the activity. So you'll see we've got the transfer listed. Obviously, because we're just looking at the 1200 account, we just see the one side of the journal. So in this case, we've got the JC that we posted earlier for against this account. So when we transferred money out of it, the other side obviously would be on the other accounts activity. Now, what we've got is we just highlight the transaction, and you've got the option at the top to edit the transaction or delete it. The other way you can access that, as I mentioned, would be to go into the transactions list, find your bank transfer. So here it is at the bottom, you've got the two lines. It doesn't matter which of those lines that I highlight. So I could highlight the first or the second part of that transfer. And again, we've got the edit or delete options. Now, if I just want into edit, it'll bring up this edit journal entry screen. So even for standard journals, if you edit them or delete them, this is the screen you're going to get. So just it views it, rather than being a bank transfer, it views it as a journal. So that's what's being posted. So here, if we had specified the wrong date, we can easily change that. Maybe we've posted it to petty cash by mistake. Again, it'd just be a case of us choosing the relevant bank account that we wanted to post that against. And again, we've got things like where we can update an extra reference, the department number, the details, if we wanted to amend that. Maybe we've got like extra details that we want to pop in there now. Let's just put my initials on the end. You can do it per line as well. Something you can't do within the bank transfer screen itself is you just got one set of details that uses that, post that against both transactions. But when you edit it, if you want to, you can make them different. You've got your tax code T9. Now, no reason you should want to change that. It should be your non-variable tax code. And then you've got your amounts as well. Now, if you had posted it the wrong way around, for whatever reason, you transferred out of your current account into, well, I've just changed it to company credit card. I'll just change that back, and I'll change it to the petty cash that we'd originally selected. So when we do the cash point withdrawal, or we record it as a withdrawal, let's say actually what it should have been is it should have been a deposit of cash into the bank account. So if that's the case, I can do one of two things. One is to delete the journal and repost it, or I can just edit it, and what I can do is I can change the values, just swap them round. Doesn't matter about the order, I just swap those values round. So actually the money is now coming out of petty cash to reduce the petty cash balance, and it's going into the bank current account. And then when I'm happy with all of that, I'll just save the changes. What I will get when you correct a journal, if you correct anything on a journal, any sort of critical field, what you'll find is that you'll get this sort of cancellation. So these transactions, the original bank transfer showing in red, shows being cancelled. And then what I've got at the bottom is I've got a correction. So I've got the actual bank transfer that I wanted. Before you had the ability to edit journals in this way, what you would have had to do would have been to reverse it manually and then repost it. And there was a few different options you had in relation to that as well. with regard to how you went about doing that. But as you've seen, nice and easy to crack them. Any additional questions just at this stage? Let's just confirm about deleting as well. So let's say this one here, I just want to get rid of it. It is a duplicate. So again, I can highlight any part of the transfer, doesn't matter. I can then just click delete. It brings up the details of that transfer that was entered. And then I'm just going to click delete at the bottom. Do you wish to delete this entry? Yes, I do. I'll click close. And at the bottom, again, that one appears in red as well. These two lines at the bottom here. So appearing in red, show is deleted. They no longer impact my accounts when they're appearing in red like that. One little trick just to mention about deletions as well is if you go into bank accounts and let's say you're looking at your activity, sometimes you'll see your transactions appearing in red on your activity. Now I don't, and the reason for that is I've got them hidden. They should be hidden by default. And that setting is held within Settings, Company Preferences. I'm just going to ask me for my password again. So within Settings, Company Preferences, on the Parameters tab, you've got this little option here, Exclude Deleted Transactions. It should be switched on by default. If I switch it off, just so you can see what that then looks like, if we go back to Bank Accounts, to Activity, and what we see now is we see the deletions in amongst that. And I don't want to see that. Similar for customers, suppliers, nominal codes, and obviously bank records. I don't want to see those transactions appearing in red. I don't want to be reminded, oh, look, you've got these two mistakes. Some people's accounts, when I look at them, I see the activities, there's more red than black transactions. They make that many mistakes. So you don't want to be reminded, maybe, about how you've had a bad day. So you can't, again, you can hide those if needed. So just as a reminder, with Settings, Company Preferences. Again, ask me for my password. And then it was on Parameters. And this little tick box here, Exclude Deleted Transactions, should be switched on by default. There is a webinar recording, just in case anyone's interested, on the other settings that are in there as well. So if you want to find out more, you've also got the help option in this screen. That will tell you a little bit more about them as well. I think it was Matt ran this one, and he went through the various tick boxes on what they actually relate to. So if you've got questions like that, do watch the Company Preferences webinar recording. So we'll just okay that. Right, now that does bring me to the end of the original demos. Let me just quickly go back to the slides for a moment. Lorna, I'm going to come back to your question in just a moment, and that goes for if anyone's got questions about foreign currency transactions. Let me know, pop them in the questions panel. Any other questions as well, do get them in there. Remember, you can take the opportunity to download the handout while you're on the session, just a copy of today's slides. You will find the detailed information available from our help centre though, if you do want that. Just as a reminder, we've got loads of webinars planned in. We've got loads this week and over the coming weeks as well. We're running just about finishing off the data management webinar series at the moment. We're in the middle of the report designer one as well. We're repeating the report design webinar badge series in October. So if you want to learn more about that, do get yourself registered. Same link, sage.co.uk/webinars will take you to this page. You've got a screenshot of, and then if you just go into the Sage 50 Accounts Live, you'll be able to choose the sessions that you want to attend. It runs partway through October at the moment. As I mentioned at the very beginning, hopefully by the end of this week, we'll have the rest of October available for you to book onto as well, and possibly beyond as well. Right, now, if you are about to leave, if you've got no questions and you've got everything that you need from the session today, thank you for attending. That goes for everyone. Thanks for coming along. I hope feeling a little bit more confident. Again, really simple topic. Some of you will be thinking, well, I knew all of that. Great, you've got that reassurance. Your understanding is correct. Some of you might have picked up a few tips along the way. Maybe those missing icons from the toolbar, or maybe icons on the toolbar that you think, oh, I'm going to hide those today. I just want to have a bit of a declutter. Try it. Right click on your toolbar, show or hide the options you want. And watch out for your follow-up email. That will include the links that you need to register for our future webinars and also to watch the recordings list. So if you are about to leave, many thanks, and hopefully I'll see you again on some other webinars soon. For those of you that might have questions or want to see that extra little demo that I'm going to quickly run through on the foreign trader side of things, I'll say it quickly, fingers crossed, we'll have a go at that. Right, okay, let's get stuck in then. So back to my screen, let me just see if, oh, it's not enabled yet. I'll quickly enable the foreign trader option in my software. Foreign trader, if anyone's interested. So you're wanting to record maybe like things like supplier transactions in foreign currencies, bank transactions in foreign currencies. Then if you're on the professional level, you just need to enable foreign trader, which I'm about to do. If you're on any other level, so if you're on essentials or the standard level of Sage 50 accounts, you can still access foreign trader, but it would need to be added onto your subscription. So do bear that in mind. So I'm on the professional level, so I'll just quickly enable it on mine. It's built into my subscription. So we'll just quickly run through this wizard. I'm just going to accept all of the defaults. I will set up a bank account. See if I've got one that I haven't used yet. Bank accounts. I'll just use defaults. Right, there we go. I was just waiting for that screen to refresh. I thought that's not right. All my balances have disappeared there. Right, these are all flagged as British GBP. I'm just going to change the currency on this one. I'll change the name of it as well. I'll just say this is euros. No, I've already got some activity on that one. Let's do it. Let's do a different one. We'll go into new edit. I'll do 1201. I'll call that one euro. And I'll set that to euros as well. I'll just save it. Right, so let's say, going back to Laura's question, how do you carry out transfer from a foreign currency to sterling account? So just in case, let's say we want to transfer some money from our euro account, although it does have a balance of 0 at the moment, but let's say it's got some money in there. So it's not going to stop me doing it. I just need to say, right, I want to transfer this amount. So we just highlights, so bank transfer is done in exactly the same way. The only thing that's any different at this stage is I need to supply an exchange rate. So I choose the account that I'm transferring from, so euro account, the account that I'm transferring the money into, date, reference, extra reference, details. I'll just accept the defaults for those. I'll say it's for 1,000. So in this case, it's going to be, excuse me, it should be for 1,000 euros. And I want to transfer at a rate of, let's say, 1.2. Now, I do get this message, and this is, if you're using foreign trader, you'll be familiar with this one. Just says the exchange rate you've used for this transaction. It's different to what's in the exchange rate in my currencies list. Obviously, I haven't entered one in there yet. So if you enter an exchange rate that's any different to what's in that currencies list, it will prompt you. Do you want to update that currencies list or not? sort of makes no difference because you'll be able to just supply the exchange rate there and then if needed. But not sure if I've been a bit too positive there, thinking that the strength of the pound is gaining on euros at the moment. It's probably about 1-to-1. I've not looked for quite some time. So we've got that there. So it's saying basically the payment amount, so it relates to the currency, the foreign currency bank account. So in this case, it's going to be 1,000 euros, and it's telling me the receipt amount that will be received into, in this case, this currency account, which is my base currency, using this exchange rate. And then all I need to do is save it. Now, if I needed to, let's say I'm transferring £1,000, but actually I'm just receiving 820. I can do it that way as well. It'll adjust values. So it might be, you might find that you need to tweak it slightly here and there. There might be charges involved as well. So it depends how you want to deal with that. But other than that, enter the amount that you're transferring, enter the amount that you're receiving, and obviously there's the exchange rate there as well. And I could just save it at that point. And essentially that's it done. So in transactions, when I go into transactions, what I do see, again, this is something if you're using Foreign Trader, you might find, is that actually we'll start with the bank account. So in the Euro account, if I have a look at the activity, remember when you're using a foreign bank account, it shows in the foreign currency. So that sort of 1,000 euros that I transferred out, that's what shows on the activity for this specific account. However, when I look in other areas, such as the transactions list, what I see is I see the value of that transaction in my base currency against both of those bank accounts. Even if you've got two foreign currency bank accounts, so let's say euros and dollars, if I did a transfer between those, both transactions, when I'm looking in the transactions list, it would show me the base currency equivalent values in here. It's these transactions that feed through into your nominal ledger, which feed through onto your, essentially your accounts and your management reports. The only time you're going to see the foreign currency against that bank account is when you're looking at the activity or you're doing the likes of a reconciliation. So easy enough to do that, Lorna. Hope that answered your question and you've seen that. If you've got any other questions, do let me know. Any other questions at all? Quick one from Adi there. Parameters. What does the enable data management option do? What is it for? Just quickly show you that one. Let's access it again. I forgot the screen already open. Not sure what's happening with my PC at the moment. Okay, let's just close out of those. Let's see if it'll let me access it now. See if it's loading somewhere. I think I'm stuck in a loop somewhere. Just to quickly pick up on enable data management. Data management is something that was introduced a few versions back. You've got the data management tool as well, which if enabled, you'll find on, I can never remember where it is now. Sorry, it's tools period end data management. And what we've introduced a few versions ago was sort of data level checks. So the data level checks basically will monitor your data. So for instance, I think for transactions, it's something like the recommended level for transaction numbers in Sage 50 counts. It's 250,000 transactions. So as you get within 80% of that, So as you hit 200,000, if my maths is right, you'll start getting prompts saying, well, you're starting to get quite close to the recommended limit. It's not the actual limit. There's no actual limit to how many transactions you can have, but it is the recommended limit. And you get this for other areas as well. So for product records, for instance, I think the one for that one is 20,000 different records. So you'll have these sort of data limits or recommended data limits for different areas of software. And by enabling the data management option, what it will do is it will start giving you prompts and enable you to do things like you can run checks and stuff like that. And the idea is it helps you to or raises your awareness of it, basically, helping you to. And it's something that we've picked up on as well within the data management webinar series that we've been running at the moment. The data management tool is covered. It's something Matt runs through. Been running that for a little while now, that webinar, where he takes you through that. So it gives you access to things like the clear audit trail option and guides you through sort of deleting customer records and supplier records, that type of thing. So if you're interested, if anyone else wants to find out more as well, do access our recordings page. I don't think we've got that one planned in for a rerun at the moment. Right, okay, so we have run over, but obviously that was just to pick up the additional questions. I hope I've answered those for you. If you've got any additional questions or you think of anything after you've left, do get in touch. You can reply to any of the webinar emails that will come direct to not necessarily myself now, because I was starting to get a bit inundated with those. It'll go to our team mailbox, but we'll still be picking those up. If you need to discuss it with someone though, do get in touch with our support team. And remember, there's loads of great resources within our help centre. So final sort of plea as well, please complete that survey as you leave today. It's really appreciated if you can. It should take you about a minute max. Share any thoughts, ideas, give us a score. As I say, minute max. If you can do that, greatly appreciated. Follow-up email will be with you in round about an hour's time. Watch out for that one. Get yourself registered for some of those upcoming sessions. And if you've missed any, including the data management tool session we've mentioned, they are available from the recordings page. So link for that's included as well. We'll end the webinar at that point. Many thanks for coming along, and hopefully I'll see you on some other sessions very, very soon. Many thanks.